It always comes to this. More nice shit. Hello there guys, here to do another tattoo progress update today. Where I last left off, I had showed off the second pass on the red on my hand with Terry and the new bolted lines on my lower and some of my upper arm with Rick. I've had another session since. I didn't get to make this video when I normally would have. I normally make these the day after my session with Rick, but I had some dental work that morning and surprisingly there was no real trouble with that, but I was anticipating there would be, because the last time I had some fillings done, they did some nerve damage to me, and I actually had headaches recurrent for like a month. And little tip or secret about me is, I love, or not love, but some people will think I meant this, but I don't mind pain. I'm pretty indifferent to pain typically. The only thing that really shuts me down is headaches, and I had, a recurring headache for like a month with my last fillings, so I was a little apprehensive to get these ones done. I don't need any more fillings now. I'm finally good at the dentist, so not that anyone wants to hear about my dental journey, but I've got one more little thing to do, and then I basically got a clean bill of health. So with not going to the dentist for 18 years, that's not bad. I'll quickly show off how the hand is healed up. So again, it's not perfect. There's some real trouble spots still, and it's a slow heal on the hand. There was a little bit of scabbing this time. Probably going to wait just a little longer next time before hitting it again, but I think a third pass will make pretty much everything fairly solid, at least solid to the point that the rest of my arm is. So I think third pass probably in 2 months, and this hand will be pretty good. And I think I'll even come and do a fourth pass eventually and make it nice and solid, because the third pass is going to make it more, it's going to make more like the arm, I think, just not quite as solid, maybe a little less, but I think with a fourth pass we might be able to get it even to as solid as my neck and clavicle area looks, shoulders, and to be quite honest, for whatever reason the red on my neck and shoulders area is more dense than the red on my arms, and I think it's just because the outer arm is, or particularly the outer arm, because the outer arm is more chewed up than say the inside. So for whatever reason we had an easier time getting this red solid than we did the arm. Anyway, it's all pretty red, so I don't really mind. Even that, like, at least it looks red. Obviously, the skin is still traumatized and healing, so some of this will look redder, some of it will look blacker. But we have the whole rose framed, and that is the most important part, is just to kind of take the rose off the background. I also had a session with Rick last week. I showed off. I've got a little white out on my arm. I don't know how the hell that happened, but I showed that off last week, but all of this is healed now, so the stretch of the arm is fully healed. So there are just those spots that in the inner bicep were a little lighter. Those will have to be done again. And then I have a spot in my ditch that did a similar thing. Trying to locate it. I think it was in here. Yeah, this line here is a little softer. I also had a bit of a, part of the reason I also didn't do this video yesterday is I had a bit of a moisture rash. Probably, I think I was wearing a hoodie and I had some aftercare on, and sometimes your skin will rub together and it gives you a bit of a heat or moisture rash. And then all you do in that situation is just dry it out. You can use calamine lotion or whatever to fight the itch. I'm pretty good at not itching or scratching itches, so it wasn't really a big deal for me. But if that bothers you, antihistamines help. You can get that in cream, or you can take some over-the-counter things like Reactin, I think, works. Benadryl, I think, works for that, but I'm not exactly sure. Anyway, like I said, I'm pretty good at not scratching things. I've gotten used to being a little itchy now and then. People ask me how I deal with that, and I just don't think about it. Like, I guess I'm just too used to it. So I'll get into finally what we did this session. Almost forgot I was doing an update. I had a 2-hour session with Rick. We mostly redid the entire face again. Just the color, most of the black is, there was a little bit of black added, but basically it's just the same face but made better. And Rick tried to tie it in more to how we finished the tentacles. So in other words, they all have kind of a similar color palette. This being session 22 on the chest, there wasn't like, so everything is so reactive now, right? Because this is like third pass color. All of this color, for the most part, except down here, had been done like once or twice already. Everything had been done at least once. So, yeah, everything you do now is just building upon a foundation of color that's already in there. So, more or less, it just immediately activates. Like, you don't really have to really work the skin very hard to get that to go in. Now this is day 3, so this is about to shed. I can already see places where it started. So this is basically what we've got now. It will be maybe a little less concentrated or clear looking next time I talk to you guys, but it's not going to dip back much farther than that. And as you can see with the tentacles and my armpits, once, and even over here with this stuff, once you get this stuff in there, it doesn't really go away. So this is the face of the monster for now. Again, I still think we've got more work to do. Rick, I think, has had enough working on it concurrently for now. But we're going to need some things to do, as always, when you're working on a big project like the left sleeve we're doing right now. We'll have some weeks where everything's in some stage of healing, or like I said, that thing happened with my ditch where it's a little bit rashy, where you wouldn't want to work on that week. So in those weeks, the down weeks or the in-between weeks, I would like to do some more with this still, because I still think there's a few things left that can be done. I think the brain could use one more pass overall, same as we did with the face. I think once we do that, you know, it doesn't look like a blackout chest piece anymore already. Like, this is not, you would not think that this was done over black at all. There's no way you would think that. It's just too clear and too animated and too expressive. Everything about this looks like it was done on normal skin. Typically what you see on black is little line style bullshits that you can't see from 2 feet away. And you don't typically associate tattooing over black with stuff like this, what I've done. I've had a few commenters say, the problem is, Remy, I show tattooers your page or your YouTube videos, and it's always like, well, that's all gonna go away, or that's not possible, or some other crazy form of denial. If your tattoo artist tells you that, stop associating with that person. I'm not trying to brainwash you. This isn't a cult. But those people should be going away. Like, if you can look at this stuff and say it's not real or it's fading, or when I show you these and they're like a year old and they haven't changed, and you can go back and watch. I have labeled all of my armpit tattoo videos, so you can go back and watch. These are nearly a year old now, and they're not changing at all. When are they supposed to fade? Ask your tattoo artist that's telling you that what Remy's doing is not going to work, or that it doesn't make sense, or it's not a thing. Ask that asshole, at what date should I expect this stuff to go away? I want to know. Because every one of them has a different date. I've heard a week. I've heard a month. I've heard 6 months. I've heard a year. I've heard 2. Every one of these fucking experts has a different number for that day. It's like they can't all agree that work over black goes bad on a specific timeline. It's always different depending on who you ask. The only thing all of those guys have in common is none of them have any idea what the fuck they're barking about. None of them have ever tried anything, and they're all just parroting one another. Now, like I said, they all have a different timeline for this. The only thing they all agree on is that it doesn't work, and they haven't tried it. So, the next time someone who hasn't even tried something tells you that it doesn't work, don't listen to that guy. If I'm looking at a guy who doesn't work out, for example, just here's an example. If I'm talking to a guy who doesn't work out and is in worse shape than I am, I'm not going to listen to him on how to get in better shape. That's not to say anything about that guy. Like, it's fine. You be in whatever shape you want. But I'm going to talk to and take the advice of a person who's actually done it and who's actually doing it. And that's with anything in life. Like, anything. If I see a guy fixing a toilet and he's doing it a certain way and it's working, and then I'm listening to a guy on the corner tell me how that guy is doing something that you shouldn't do, and he would do it this way, typically I'm going to talk to the guy who's getting results. I'm going to talk to the guy who's, proving his point, not just, some guy who has a thought or a theory that hasn't been tested. I am now doing what's said can't be done. And quite frankly, me and my artists here at the shop are fucking the rule book every week liberally. Everything that's been said you can't do, we're just doing it. And almost now, like, if I ever hear a tattoo artist say something can't be done, I'm just going to show them that it can be done, and that's going to be that. It's only going to be so long before I'm here yelling at you guys about this stuff 5 years from now, and God knows what I'll look like then. But I have a feeling that none of what I'm doing is going to vanish. 5 years from now, will that be enough, do you think? Or will it still be some other... Remy had all that touched up repeatedly. He gets tattooed all... Like, they'll just move the goalpost. I don't know at what time it will be good enough. But I will say it's not going to last. Futurists are expecting that we're not going to die anymore in 2030, I've heard. So if we're going to be around forever, theoretically, in some way, I think multi-layer bodysuits are going to be the thing. I don't think it's going to be laser. I think it's going to be multi-layer. I think what I'm doing is going to be incredibly common. It will be more or less common depending on the area of the world you're in. There will be places that will be completely behind the times and screaming that this is not doable or not possible for a while to come. But those assholes are going to be phased out. And I don't care if you're a good tattooer either. If you keep saying something's impossible when it's being proven that it is, you're not going to go much farther ahead. You've plateaued. Like, you would think that people would be happy that this information was being out there and proven, because this will upgrade anyone's cover-up game immediately if they adopt the principle that you can cover anything. We had a woman come in. I'm going to make a whole video on some of the stuff we've been doing at this shop. But we had a woman come in with a fucking tribal banana on her fucking neck the other day. Okay? No one in town wanted to touch this thing. I took one look at it. I gave it to an artist who's never done anything like this before. Only been tattooing for a year and a half. And she just did a fucking white on black, black on black floral over top of it. That thing is gone. It's healed already. And guess what? You can't even tell what was there anymore. All we did was do a new tattoo over top of the old one. We were just completely ignorant to the old one too. Like, it wasn't magic. There was nothing. Good luck explaining that one away when we have a year and a half tattooer with 1,000 followers doing things that shouldn't be done because we're doing intelligent tattooing instead of listening to the bullshit spewed by people who have never even tried it. Quite honestly, I'm at the place now where when people tell me those stories, I'm like, just leave that dirtbag behind then. Find someone without an ego problem. Find someone who has no issue with experimenting. And just trust him, because you don't need a fucking wizard. I had a guy who was like, I'm going to trust the opinion of professional tattoo artists with big platforms instead of your couple thousand following tattoo artists, Remy. You're complete unknowns. My complete unknowns have proven that this works. I specifically work with people who don't have huge followings. This is not being done by world-class people or fucking wizards. My whole thing has proven this work works, and it can be done by just about anyone. If Terry and Rick die tomorrow, I know the formula that I can take to another artist, and then we can just keep going. It's not something that has to be done by someone that's, got 600,000 followers or 2 million followers. Anyone can fucking do it. If you can saturate, you can fucking do it. It's that simple. It's not fucking magic either. You don't need a goddamn wand. Here's what you need. You need less ego, less entitlement, and a little more fucking ambition, or an open mind wouldn't hurt. And so many of these guys have closed minds. They just get to a place in their career where they're doing a 6 out of 10 tattoo every day and they're calling it good. They're going home complacent. They've made enough money. They're fed cats. Well, I'm not a fed cat. I don't plan on being one. I don't plan on being complacent. I don't plan on sticking my head in the sand. Yes, true, there was a time when I might have even told you that this stuff is impossible. But for the same reason why, if you present me with facts in any regard that contrast my belief, then I'm open to new information, okay? I'm not going to just blindly believe what's always been believed just because. If you show me evidence that something works, then I'm going to believe the evidence. I'm not going to sit there and tell you that this doesn't exist because it contradicts my beliefs. I'm not just going to stick my head in the sand, okay? So like I said, yes, true, because you can go back and watch some of my other videos. I would have never believed that some of what we're doing now is possible. But we figured out that it is possible, and so I'm not going to continue and make an ass of myself by denying it. And quite frankly, that's what that is. Like, I don't know, maybe it's because I've never been religious, but I have a hard time understanding the idea of just believing in something blindly when you have evidence to the contrary. Belief is a funny thing to me. It's never made sense to me to purposely go against evidence. And I'm clearly putting out evidence week after week. Every argument that's been made against it is being disproven week after week. And if there are any of those artists out here that think this stuff is impossible, that come across this video or any of my other ones, this is for you. You deserve this. You've earned this. You're part of the problem. You're bad for the industry. And the sooner you can get the fuck out of here and not come back or change your mindset, the better off everyone in the industry will be. We do not need more gatekeeping. We need more open-headed, level-headed arguments. We need more people testing things. So fuck you to all the people who are stuck in the past and not willing to experiment. You are holding the industry back. The industry is still in its infancy, and we've got a lot farther to go, and we don't need you. Anyway, I'll show off what we did again this week. So again, this is going to look like this next week. It's not going to change 2 weeks from then. The only time it's going to change is when we do more to it. That's it. So if you're thinking this is all going to be gone next year when I'm talking to you, I already have a year here. This is more than a year. The spider eyes on my chest are nearly 2 years old now, and they're not going away. So when is it going to go away? You give me the timeline, experts. I want to know it. I'll talk to you guys again soon. Have a great day.